Yo, for my women, listen, birth control. It don't matter what you're taking. This is what you're going to be doing. You're going to inject yourself with synthetic hormones designed to mimic your natural hormones, okay? That is a problem. You are taking synthetic hormones. What is synthetic? That it means it is man-made. It is fake. It doesn't exist in nature. So once you introduce something in your body that shouldn't be in your body, what's going to happen? You're going to pay the consequences. You're going to have side effects that is not going to be pleasant. So long-term use of synthetic hormones will reduce and eventually, because I said or even, no, eventually it will stop your body from naturally producing these hormones because it no longer needs it because it's getting it from a synthetic source. Why put all this energy in producing something that we're already getting? That's a waste of energy. Let's do something else. Okay, so eventually this will lead to a hormonal imbalance, which will manifest in a wide range of symptoms. And even when you stop birth control, depending on how long you've been on birth control, it may take weeks, months, or in some cases, up to a year for your body to regulate its hormones naturally. Now, why do women get on birth control? There's so many reasons, and I'm not a woman. One, she don't want to get pregnant. Two, she's dealing with a problem and she wants to run the birth control to solve it. Okay, that's mainly what it is. She's dealing with a problem. Pregnancy is a problem for women. The environment is so hard. Women see having a baby as a goddamn problem. Okay, she has a problem. She runs to the doctor. The doctor is not going to inform you of these things the way they should be, or the way they should. Okay, they're not incentivized to do that. You know, the doctors, the medical system is hand in hand with the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical cartel. These three people are in a three-way relationship. Like, boom, boom, boom. All three of them need each other, okay? Everybody needs to make money, and they need to find a way to convince you that taking poison is going to help you so they can continue poisoning you, putting you on more drugs until you die, and then you birth a baby that's damaged because it came from a damaged body, a damaged womb, and they're going to drug that baby until they repeat the same process and die, okay? So you're going to run a birth control. You're going to take it. You may feel better. You may not. Either way, now you're on it. And after you get off, whatever problem you were trying to fix was only masked. It was only hidden. It was an illusion. It was trickery. It was a magic. When you get off, your problems are going to come back with a vengeance, and you're going to have more because you've effed up your body even more. Okay? So look at the side effects. Spotting/breakthrough bleeding. Nausea. Breast tenderness. Headaches. Mood swings. Weight gain. Lower libido, bloating, skin changes. Now, it could be for the good or bad. Missed or irregular periods, fatigue, mask deeper issues. You are masking your deeper issue. You're not fixing nothing. You're only running away from it. Depression, sleep disturbance, nutrient deficiencies, and changes in vaginal discharges. Listen, I know there's so much more, but if your doctor really sat down, told you about how this is synthetic, and how it's going to damage your natural God-given gift of producing these own hormones, which is going to change you, because once you change your hormones, you change yourself. And these are the common side effects. These are common, okay? We didn't get to the uncommon yet. He told you all of this, right? We don't even need to get to the uncommon, but if you are willing to deal with all of this, because you will deal with one of these, one or more, you're going to deal with it, especially if you're taking it for a long period of time. You're not God. Don't try to play God. You can't avoid these things. They have these side effects for a reason, because you will feel this side effect because you are breaking the law and you must pay the consequences. So if you're willing to take that, you don't love yourself, okay? These are the least common but serious effects, okay? I haven't finished this yet, but listen. Blood clots, high blood pressure, increased risk of certain cancers like breast or cervical. Did I say that right? Cervical cancer with long-term use. Hair loss, heart attack, stroke, liver failure/dysfunction. After seeing this list, sweetheart, baby, woman, mother, daughter, sister, auntie, for the men, do you really want to risk your woman dealing with these side effects, injecting herself with synthetic chemicals, synthetic hormones, man-made in the lab that doesn't exist in nature? Do you really want to have the chance to have any of these side effects after long-term use? I shouldn't add infertility here because that's his job, is to make you infertile. So if you become infertile for the rest of your life, you shouldn't be surprised when that was his job. I know a woman off head who took Depot, young woman, very, very young, in the 20s. She can't get pregnant. That is a shame. Young, beautiful woman. She cannot get pregnant. And there's many women out there, but you won't hear about them because they don't want you to hear about them. Because when you start hearing these stories and you start seeing that this is real, there are women who are really dealing with problems. There's no way in hell you would take that pill. There's no way in hell you would attach something to your skin. There's no way in hell you would implant something in your skin. There's no way in hell you would pierce your skin to put synthetic hormones designed to mimic your natural God-given hormones in your body to deal with whatever problem. And the problems that you're dealing with, you want to run away because you don't love yourself. You don't want to have self-respect. You don't want to re-inspect yourself. Take another look at yourself and ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? How did this happen? Why is my period so goddamn painful? For a whole week, I feel like I'm being enslaved and punished by my own body. What is my body trying to tell me? What is my body telling me? Maybe I need to stop wearing all of this makeup because it's covered in chemicals, covered in cancer and poison. That's another problem. You don't even want to look at the mirror. You don't want to look at yourself. That's really what it's all about. Maybe I should stop eating poisonous food filled with chemicals and preservatives that shouldn't be anywhere near my body. Maybe I should stop smoking and drinking alcohol. Maybe I should stop doing drugs. Maybe I should start taking a look at these so-called prescription drugs. This pharmakeia, this magic, this illusion, this spell that my doctor is giving me that ain't getting me no better, is just managing me. Maybe I should look at the side effects of that. Maybe I should look at my lotion, my soap. I got to look at my life because I'm in pain. And instead of dealing with it, I want to run away. There's a problem with myself. And since you don't have knowledge and nobody is willing to give to you because everybody around you is I, everybody around you also been programmed to not like themselves, not to understand themselves. I completely forgot where I was going with that. But you need to take it upon yourself to research this so-called medicine because we have been misled. You see, I was diabetic. Excuse my language. I was pre-diabetic. I'm 24 years old. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't party. I don't hang with thotties. At least I don't, smoke and drink often. You won't catch me with a bottle 24/7. You won't even catch me on a weekend with a bottle. It's very rare you'll catch me smoking and drinking or doing edible, any of those things. It's super rare, I don't eat fast food. I like homemade food. I sleep almost 8 hours a day without a fail. And if I don't feel right. I exercise. I train physically, mentally, spiritually, financially. I'm always looking for a way to improve myself. I don't play about my life. Yet I was still pre-diabetic. So I had to have some real self-respect to re-inspect myself, to re-look at myself and ask myself, what am I doing wrong despite me thinking I'm doing everything right? So I looked at my food. And I remember there was a period when I went vegetarian to heal my pancreas because I blew it out eating all this goddamn rice, all this African food. Blew my pancreas straight out. It was hurting badly. So I went vegetarian. And guess what? Not only that my pancreas healed, but I was no longer diabetic. But guess what? I didn't really care for myself like that. I just went to heal my pancreas. I didn't care about diabetes. Diabetes was normal to me. Having blurry vision was normal to me. Being excessively thirsty was normal to me. Drinking 8 bottles of water a day and peeing every day was normal to me. Waking up sweating like an animal was normal to me. Having mood swings after my afternoon meals, which is around 2 p.m. That's my biggest meals where I eat the most carbs, was normal to me. Until I said, you know what? I'm not going to normalize being sick in my own body. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of having to go in the gym every day to sweat out the toxins from my body so I can feel normal. The reason I was in the gym all the time is because I would feel like I'm dizzy. I feel like I'm about to pass out. I have these mood swings. I would just feel off. And I felt better. I felt balanced when I went to the gym and started moving my body. So once I had some real self-respect, some real self-love, and started making changes to my diet again, my livid, my food, what I feed this vessel with, guess what? Diabetes, the pre-diabetic symptoms disappeared within 2 weeks. And within a few months, I got my test and I was no longer pre-diabetic. I didn't need that test to know that because I was a pre-diabetic. Ain't nobody can tell me no different. Of course, the doctors and the nurses didn't believe me because they've been programmed. Of course, they're not going to believe me. They believe in pharmacare. They believe in medicine. That's what pays them. That's what feeds them. That's all they know. So I can't expect somebody who live in a box to know how it feels to be free with nothing holding you. I can't expect that. And I can't expect individuals who've been also programmed through school, who've been programmed to see these doctors and nurses as our health experts. I can't expect them to see what I'm saying. I can't expect them to listen to me and not call me insane. I expect it, you know? So once I understood that I have full responsibility of my life, and I'm going to be the only one to change this life. Nobody can do it for me. They may give me the answers, but I must do it. Then I knew. And also when I learned that I'm a living organism, just like any other living organism, I have essential needs. If I don't meet my essential needs, I'm going to slowly deteriorate until I die. Example, when you see a plant outside, if you don't give a particular plant its water, good temperature, and the sun, that plant is going to slowly die. Now, if you take that plant to a doctor, they will put any type of dirty name on it, like some type of disease, like cancer, or they would just find some type of name based on the symptoms they seen and then drug the plant. Give the plant some fake fertilizer to see if the plant will, respond. But I just told you, if that plant don't get water, what's going to happen? He going to slowly die. If that plant don't get sun, what's going to happen? He going to slowly die. And he going to show you the symptoms until he finally falls over and he can't get back up. You are no different. If you don't feed your vessel hydration, what's going to happen? You're going to die. If you don't feed your body food, what's going to happen? You're going to slowly die. And you're going to have symptoms showing you that you're about to die until it's over. And if you go to the doctor, what are they going to do? They're going to put a dirty name on you, and then they're going to drug you until you die. Instead of understanding, yo, are you sleeping well? Are you active? Are you getting your sunlight? Are you hydrated? What are you eating? What are you surrounded by? What do you put on your skin? Do you smoke? Do you drink? I need to know everything about you before we even consider medication. Medication to me is like emergency. We need to control the body because the body is out of control. We need to control you before you die. Like surgery. I had surgery on my shoulder. I would like to be drugged while I'm getting surgery so I don't wake up in shocking pain, so I don't bleed to death. I don't die because like I'm literally being opened up. It's life. Anyway, I'm pretty sure you guys understand where I'm going with this. I don't think I need to keep repeating myself. Wasn't supposed to go on a tangent like this, but I get angry when all the information you need is on the internet. It's on your hand. It's in your pocket. You sleep with it. You walk around with it. Most of us can't even go a day without our phone. We can't even go an hour without a phone. Everything you need is here, yet your life is still in shambles. First of all, because you were designed to be that way. You were programmed to be, not designed, you were programmed to be that way. So I don't fault you, but you need to wake up. And only you can wake yourself up. I can tell you all of these things, but if you don't do it, you don't do it. And I had to learn that some people really need to get burned really bad for them to finally wake up and realize I don't want to get burned anymore. And I realized that with myself. I had to go through 24 years of pre-diabetes to realize I don't want this anymore, because I thought if I continue this, where am I life going to be? That's all I do. I sit back in a rocking chair and do the old man test. I'm 24 years old right now. If I continue doing this job until I'm 80, am I going to be happy with myself? Am I going to be 80 sitting on that rocking chair regretting the life that I live? If the answer is yes, I need to make changes now before it's too late. Because right now we all live in an illusion world. The money is fake. It doesn't exist in nature. Half of the food that we eat is fake. It just looks like food. Our health experts, they're fake because they're not health experts. They don't know nothing about the body. They're not taught nothing about the body. They're drug dealers. Our politicians are fake. They give you the illusion that you need them for security when you really don't. They're the ones causing all the problems. They're the ones controlling us. Anything that happens in this life, like a crisis, trust me, they're behind it. They played a part. They will sit there and lie to you because most of these guys are psychopaths and don't have no emotion. So they know how to fit in. They know how to hide. And most of us don't believe that there's evil. There's evil on this earth. So we're unable to imagine that the things that I'm saying is real. Like somebody would really sit down and plan this. I'm telling you, people sat down and planned how society would play out for their own benefit. You don't got to believe me, but I'm telling you, it's the truth. There are wicked people on this earth and they don't have your best interests at heart, but they're the ones leading you. And you can start anywhere from the financial system to our school system came from the Prussian model. The Prussians needed a way to program their citizens, especially their men, to be yes men and good soldiers. Because the soldiers will go out in battle and they will think for themselves. So we need to make a way for them to see themselves as a unit and just take orders. Take orders, don't think for yourself. And they were successful. And America said, yo, we need that. And we implemented it in our society. And as you can see, it's successful because people don't ask no questions. And the people who do, the politician don't need to do the work. The people on the street are going to do the work. They're going to call you insane for actually thinking. They're going to call you insane for actually sitting down and writing this. I know there's somebody going to say, why did you waste your time and do this, bro? Somebody's really going to say, why am I wasting my time being concerned for all women? Are you serious? And then there will be women who would tell me I'm wrong. You trying to stop my rights. I'm not stopping nothing. First of all, that ain't no goddamn right. Poisoning yourself? I mean, you do have the right to poison yourself. You actually do, but man, shut your ass up. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Because a lot of the things that's so-called for your right is really here to hold you back. It's here to bind you. They give you the illusion that it's helping you. And all your little friends fall into it. And you a little sheep and you want to do what they do. And this falls for the men too. The men, it's nowhere in hell. Well, let me not say that, but it's sad that we allow our women to do some certain things with no pushback. Some of us actually need to allow our women to do it, though, after we show them so they can see how dumb they are when they get on the birth control within a few, probably within a few days, but just give it a week or two or a few months, depending on how well her body adjusts. These symptoms are going to start popping up. And all you do is just check it off. Hey, wife, I told you this one was going to happen. Yeah. That one was going to happen. Oh, this one happened. Before you know it, you're going to be going down the list until you come to these. And unfortunately, karma, consequences take time. You might cross off hair loss. Yeah, you just losing your hair. And hopefully you don't cross off none of this, because at that point, it's time to get off. And now we got to rebuild your body. So this video went on way longer than expected, but you know the thing. So it's one side effect that I forgot to mention, which is very important and is not discussed often, and that's why I forgot. See, I took it off the common side effects because when you look up the common side effects, from the forums to the internet to what doctors say, they never mention that birth control can actually change your preference in men. So I put it in least common. But if you sit down and you think about this in its most natural sense, when a woman is looking for a mate and she's not on birth control, that means she can get pregnant. She has to be selective on the type of man that she chooses, especially if she's smart, she's actually in her right mind. If she's not, then we're not talking about you. You're a loose ting. The ones who are not loose tings, the one who use their common sense, the women who actually analyze the man that they're allowing to touch them, that they're allowing inside of their womb, inside of that coochie. He has to be a certain caliber of man, because she's going to be pregnant for 9 months? That man could leave. If that man is there, can he provide? Can he protect? So she needs to look for certain traits in this man in order for her to open up her legs for him. Now, if you give that same woman birth control, now she has tricked her own body into thinking that it's pregnant. Now, mentally, I can't tell you exactly what it's going to do internally from the inside with our hormones, because every woman is different. But if you think about it in this most natural sense, with common sense, she's no longer able to get pregnant. So she doesn't have to be as selective. For whatever reason, she may start feeling nerds. For whatever reason, she has an attraction towards feminine men. She probably wouldn't originally go for this man if her hormones were balanced and she was looking at the world with the right lens. Because when you're hormonally imbalanced, you change. So that means your perspective on this life change. That means your behaviors that you exhibit change. You change. So the type of people you interact with will also change, and how you interact with those people will change. So you may start sleeping around with men who you would have never thought about sleeping with if you were actually in your natural state, and you can actually pay the consequences for sleeping for this type of man. And then just thinking mentally, you basically took the shackles off her coochie. Any man can dump in there, use it, abuse it. He don't have to worry about her being pregnant, and she don't have to worry about her being pregnant. So she's a loose cannon, because now she thinks she won't pay the consequences, which she will, but she thinks she doesn't. So just think about putting a woman in that state, whether she's with her man or not. Matter of fact, imagine a woman choosing her mate when she's not in her right state, when she's not in her natural state, and then she finally returns back to her natural state. Is she still going to want to be with that man she chose when she wasn't in her right state? See, it's different if you met your woman off from birth control and then she got on it. You may be safe. She is going to go through some roller coasters, but if she does get off, she's probably still going to want to be with you because she chose you in her right state. But if she chose you when she has synthetic hormones being shot in her body, there's a good chance she might get off and that cloud gets revealed. That cloud that's blocking her eyes finally becomes clear, and she realized she never wanted to be with you in the first place. Because if you men and women go into these forms, a lot of women describe the feeling of getting off birth control is like they're seeing reality for the first time. They realize that they were so different. Because when you shoot yourself with these hormones, you won't even realize the change, first of all, because you don't know yourself, but it's a hormonal change. You can't see it. So you won't contribute these changes like mood swings, excessive weight, sleep disorders, hair loss, all of these symptoms. You won't contribute it to the pill. You would just contribute it to whatever you think life is doing to you, until you get off the pill and you watch these things start to disappear, and then you realize it was the pill. It was the pill. So that was very important, because if you look these up, of course, there's going to be some women who say they don't. That's why I put it as uncommon. But there's women who have noticed, because they know themselves, that they were with guys that they would never even think about if they were in their right state. And to me, that's scary. Imagine meeting a woman that you actually love and respect while she was on birth control. And then when she gets off, you want to start having babies. She gets off and she realizes that she never wanted you in the first place. Matter of fact, she's actually starting to resent you because she never wanted you, but you want her. That is a bad situation. And just look it up. There's stories all over the internet about these things. So for my woman, especially for my woman, but even my men, but it's mostly for my woman, when you try to play God, you are going to pay the consequences for that. We have a law with our bodies, with this earth. Whether you're aware of it or not, when you break it, you will pay the consequences. It's not like man-made laws, where if you break a man-made law, if nobody sees you or nobody enforces it, you won't pay the consequences. That's why it's man-made. That's why it's bullshit. But that's not natural law. You break natural law, you will pay the consequences. If you fall off a 200 feet mountain, gravity's going to take you down and you're going to break every single bone in your body and you're going to lose your life. There's no way around it. If a child falls, we're going to cry, but that child didn't know the law of gravity. The child had to pay the consequences. You can't say the same about man-made laws. It's always being changed. In one state, weed is legal. In another state, it's not. And federally, it's illegal. Come on, bro. Come on, man. One country, weed is illegal. You can smoke it in public. One country, you get caught with a gram, you're doing time in jail. Come on, bro. Time in prison. Come on, G. One law we all know, murder is murder, and no human being should be murdering anything. We all know that. That's instinctual. We know that. Nobody got to tell us that killing, taking another life, stealing from somebody else is a bad thing. We know that. We know from what right or wrong is, but we live like domesticated animals. We're literally like dogs and cats, breeded and forced to live in homes. You see, they breeded dogs. They breeded these cats so they can be docile and they can accept living in environments that if they were in their original form, they would never accept. They would eat you. We're no different. We are breeded. Women are breeding with weak men, and weak men are breeding with weak women and creating weak children, docile children who accept and will do anything. That's why testosterone is dropping. That's why the fertility rate is not even high enough to replace the previous generation. Who's going to replace it? The immigrants. This is why we accept eating poisonous food. This is why we accept all of this tax. Slavery, working jobs that we really don't want to work, living meaningless lives. This is why we accept it. We've been bred this way. Eugenics, look up eugenics, selective breeding. We've been programmed through the school system. Eating the wrong foods, taking medication, taking drugs that's messing with our bodies, that's not allowing our bodies to communicate properly. This is why some of you can't even sit down and talk like this for 30 minutes about something, because your brain doesn't have the capacity to do that. Your brain is not functioning correctly. Your body is not functioning correctly. You are not perceiving this world correctly. That's why you are not living the life you're supposed to live. You're living in lies, and you're going to pay the consequences for that. That's why I always tell myself I refuse to live in lies, bro. You can live in a lie. I won't do that because I know it is not good for me. Anyway, I'm out.